Hello there, fellow NPCs. I'm Scythe, and today we're getting back into the house in Fata Morgana, and we are one day away from saving Morgana, if we can at least, if that is a possibility. But before we can do that, we have to make sure that all the culprits are regretting their actions, and in order to do so, we need to know why they are doing the things they are doing, and that is why we are here right now. We are listening to the swordsman's story about why he decided to do the things he did. Yes. We'll see exactly how bad it is, and if he truly is a beast or a man. Yes. So with that said, let's go. As you know, I am not from this land. The issue is, I don't know any more about where I came from than you. I remember the Silk Road, stretching out before me as far as the eye can see. Clouds of dust wisping across the bare dirt trail. The endless expanse of red earth remains branded into the very fabric of my mind. But beyond that, most of my memories are gone. Ooh. So he did lose his memory. I can only clearly remember the last 5 years or so of my life. In my oldest real memory, I was a slave. I didn't work on some nobleman's estate, but instead, I did physical labor, construction work. I built roads and buildings, tore down hills and mountains. That's where it was decided someone built like I am would be the most use, I suppose. And while I doubt I need to tell you this, living conditions were miserable. Other slaves withered away and died on a daily basis. Working a noble's estate would have been easier, without a doubt, if only for the fact I would have a specific master. I don't remember anything about my life before becoming a slave. All I have are those few images, from which I can guess I was part of a caravan. Or perhaps a messenger. I vaguely remembered being waylaid. We were vastly outnumbered, massacred with little resistance. Or at least, I assumed that's what happened. When I next woke up, I had been stripped bare and was surrounded by men I didn't recognize. The words they spoke were gibberish to my ears. But I could tell from their tone of voice and expression that the things they were saying were not friendly. They seemed to be mocking me, laughing at me. As you might expect, I attempted to protest, but evidently I had been beaten quite badly while I was unconscious. My joints were stiff and swollen, on top of my dehydration, so I could barely move, let alone put up a fight. As strong as I might have been at full health, I was in no condition to do anything then. You have no idea what that's like. How it feels to be abused and humiliated, desperate for food and water. Oh, don't we now? Oh, I see. So, as I was saying, I was a slave for one grueling, torturous year. No one treated me like a human being. There was no one from the same part of the world as me, and there was no one to come to my aid. Over time, I came to learn the language. Though I can only speak it, I don't know how to read or write. But to be honest, I think I was happy not understanding what people were saying about me. They had many words to describe me, none of them flattering. Some of them would even call me beast. Yeah, so this is what I've been saying for some time now, because this story is fucking long, is that Morgana was not able to reincarnate them at all. She just changed the settings. But their story just keep on repeating themselves. And the longer I was treated as something less than human, the more I began to question whether I really was one. A darkness grew inside me with each repeated insult. I wanted to make them pay for the daily abuse. And who wouldn't? The desire to exact vengeance when you've been mistreated is only natural. It's perfectly reasonable. But they were right about what I was deep down. A beast. And my revenge went far beyond what could be considered reasonable. Oh, this is where Mel was living. Before Mel and Nellie were left 4 years ago. I was sitting in a carriage as it rattled along a dirt road. This was not the kind of carriage you rode around town in, but a filthy slave transport. It was packed front to back with slaves, or soon-to-be slaves, I suppose I should say. There were men, young women, and even children. Everyone wore a look of hopelessness on their faces, and no one had the strength left to resist. They looked like me a year earlier, deprived of food and water and beaten into submission. The slave traders' guards were armed, of course. Swords hanging from their hips, ready to cut down anyone who showed any sign of resistance. So they sat there, lamenting their fate. Sitting beside me was a young girl, crying in silence, Morgana. Glancing over at her, I caught a glimpse of her face. Large chunks of skin seemed to have fallen off it. It was, suffice to say, an unusual sight. But beyond that, I didn't think much of it. I didn't find it disturbing or unpleasant, perhaps because I had a similarly unusual appearance. What caught my attention, though, was the way she was crying. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it seemed different somehow, from everyone else crying in the carriage. It was almost like her tears were not for herself. "Why are you crying?" At my question, the girl turned her head up to look at me. Surprise crossed her face for a few brief moments, but that was her only reaction to my appearance. I assume her thought process was roughly the same as mine, so she felt no need to fear me. After a moment's hesitation, she said, "I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me." Her response perplexed me to no end. Why was she concerned about we showing gratitude? Why was she not despairing of her own circumstances? Why was that the emotion that gripped her in that moment, not hatred for the slave trader or sorrow for herself? To this day, I still don't understand. But that wasn't the only thing I found curious. Her voice, despite being soft, cut through the crying and wailing of the other slaves. I pictured it like a single patch of clear water in the middle of a swamp, untamed by its surroundings, gently undulating. One sentence was all she said, but there was something unbelievably calming about the sound of it. For a moment, I was filled with a sense of tranquility, and though you may not believe it, I wanted to get her out of that filthy carriage, to undo the shackles threatening to taint her, and so I took action, driven by that desire. This is no lie, I promise. No, don't kill me! Where? Please, you can have all the money. You can go free if that's what you want. I'll apologize. Anything. What? Why are you laughing? Please spare me. I have a wife and children. Please. I'm begging you. And why should I care? Yeah. I believe, didn't something similar happen indoor too? Holding a sword in my hand felt amazingly right. Whatever work I once did must have required me to use a blade. Even with the shackles still around my wrists, I had little trouble slaughtering the slave traders and their guards. They let their guards down because we were restrained. The thought of anyone resisting never once crossed their minds. Dead bodies sprawled out around me. Corpses I had made, lives I had snuffed out. Look at this. See? No one can defeat me. They stood no chance against my strength. More. I need more. I need more. I don't have the words to describe the high it gave me killing those men, the power I felt over them. I was driven mad by the stench of blood filling the air. No, I just drew out what was always there. If I weren't already deranged, the corpses would have had nothing to stimulate in the first place. After taking the keys of one of the slave traders, I returned to the carriage, doing my best to act calm and suppress the bubbling exhilaration. Hey, you! Unlock my shackles for me. I would do it myself if I could. You. Say something, would you? But she said nothing, simply removing my shackles as commanded. If she had said even one word, let me hear that curiously calming voice of hers, then in all likelihood, I probably would have stopped there. But she remained perfectly silent. Everyone was in shock at what they had just witnessed, her included. In time, though, the slaves started cheering. The same people who had been wailing minutes earlier were now shouting praises. Our savior! You are our savior! We're free to go home! We can have our lives back! Undo our shackles, please! I'm a beast. What? I'm not a savior. I'm not a man. I'm a beast. Isn't that right? I'm a beast, aren't I? What are you? More. I need more. I thirst for more. Why are you pointing your... I need more! So, yeah, no redeeming qualities, it would seem. I mean, a slave who fight back is one thing, but if he enjoyed it and decided to kill all the other slaves, then yeah, you're not that good, now are you? In that moment, the last of my reason dissolved. I went into a frenzy, slaughtering the helpless slaves I had never intended to kill. I was euphoric. I couldn't get enough. I reveled in it. Never before had I felt such utter ecstasy. Their cries for mercy as I ripped through them were delicious. The look of fear in their eyes. The way their faces twisted. The splatters of blood around their mouths, open in screams. The despair that filled them. I didn't care anymore that they were just as much victims as me. That they had suffered the same abuse and humiliation. All of that was buried beneath the waves of bliss that ravished me. Everyone who asked to be spared, I skewered. I worked my way around the inside of the carriage, killing dozens upon dozens of slaves. Heads went rolling off shoulders, hot geysers of blood spewing from open necks. I was practically wading through blood by that point. Some bodies I completely dismembered. Others I disemboweled, leaving their entrails to hang out of their open guts. All of them had looks of agony frozen in their faces as death took them. I don't know if I was unconsciously avoiding her or if it was just a coincidence, but the girl was the only one I left alive. She, of course, hadn't been spared the mess, so she sat there, drenched in sticky, red gore. Her lips appeared to be trembling, though I couldn't tell for sure with so much of her skin missing. The fire inside me still burned white hot. She was the reason I had done any of this in the first place. I had stood up because I wanted to set her free, but my original intentions were long since gone from my mind. Raw pleasure overwhelmed any sense of reason. I approached the girl, pointing the sword at her neck. I expected her to scream, to beg for her life like the others, but she did nothing, simply stared up at me. Why didn't you run? At my question, the girl finally spoke. Why did you kill them? The sound of her voice quelled the furor within me. It baffled me. I had no control over it, yet this strange girl could pacify me with a single utterance. The words she used didn't matter. It was her voice. Interesting. Because I believe Michelle said something similar about the voice from present Morgana. That it just cut through everything, or that it couldn't be ignored, essentially. She could have called me a monster, and it would have had the same effect. Because I felt like it. I couldn't explain my reason for murdering the slaves. I didn't have the words to express the things that drove me. All I could tell her was that I did it because I felt like it. And why haven't you killed me yet? I couldn't find a sure answer for that question in my somewhat rattled mind either. In retrospect, I realize now that her voice was my first tether. But at the time, I had no idea why I didn't take her life in my frenzy. I had killed other children, other women. Young, old, sad, miserable. It didn't matter. Nothing had so much as prickled my conscience. I don't know, I said, and then I stepped off the carriage and walked away, left with questions I couldn't answer. Was I really a beast? Was unleashing my innate savagery and reveling in the massacre of helpless people really all I wanted? I didn't know. After escaping from the slave traders, I became something of a bandit. I had no hope of anyone taking me in. Not only was I a murderer, I was a foreigner. Nor did I have any chance of finding decent work. So I lived by the sword, killing and plundering. The money, I honestly didn't give a damn about. I had no desire to be wealthy. It was simply a matter of survival. That, and quenching my thirst. I went on for about 3 years like that. Oh. Yeah, right. This is the village they are in now, because this is where Giselle ran. Until finally encountering something I couldn't defeat with my sword. No amount of muscle was enough to protect myself from disease. One day, I woke up with chills, my vision blurry, barely able to move my own limbs. I set off for a nearby village, hoping to see a doctor, but my body didn't last that long. I collapsed on the side of the road, drained on my last strength. It was a moderately busy road at that, so I assume I had made it close to the city. Dozens of people passed by, silently pretending not to see anything. I didn't look like someone a respectable person would want to involve themselves with in normal circumstances, so it was no surprise they weren't interested in a sick, filthy foreign man. Hell, I can remember the last time I had bathed. It was hard to look at me, let alone get anywhere near me. This is where I'm going to die, I thought. It seemed like a suitable end to a mad, murderous monster's life, withering away on the side of the road beneath sneering passers-by. The fact that I was still alive at all after 3 years of leeching off other people's lives was, itself, wrong. I didn't lament my impending demise. I accepted that such was the way of the world. But then, I glanced up to see a woman in a nun's habit looking down on me. Are you alright? Are you sick? I'm going to check your temperature, okay? Wow, you're burning up. You shouldn't be out here in this condition. Do you not have anywhere to go? Don't worry, I got you covered. There's a church and not too far from here. Hang in there and just a little longer, and you'll be fine. And what is your god going to do for me? He helps people in need. It's not very big, but we've always got room for people who need it. You can rest up in one of the open beds, and I should be able to get you a little something to eat. I promise it'll be better than staying out here at any rate. Can you stand? Not a problem. We can do this together. Put your arm around my shoulders. The church isn't that far. We can do it. You are going to carry me? Yep. It'll be fine. We'll make it. One way or another. Hey! Almost. We're almost there. Just a little longer. I'm heavy, aren't I? Very, very heavy. But that's not a problem. I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Just throw me in a ditch. Now, God doesn't like his children talking like that. Almost there. We're almost there. So, how are you feeling? Better, I hope. I left some applesauce on the bedstand, if you're feeling up to eating anything. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Why did you help me? Because that's what people do. They help each other. That's not what most people do. I like to think it is. You church people are exceptions. I'm not sure. I agree with that. This woman is only showing me compassion because she doesn't know what I am. She wouldn't be so friendly if she knew I was a madman and a murderer. If there's anything else you want, then let me know. I can't make you any fancy dinners, but if it's anything I can get, I will. Could you tell me your name? I'm Marie. Marie. After, who was it? The Virgin? You're not familiar with the Virgin Mary? Just look at me. I'm clearly not from these parts. Ah, yeah, I can see that. So that would make you a traveler, huh? You speak the language really well, though. I take it you've been here for a while, then? Yes, I have. How exciting. So when you're feeling better, maybe you could tell me about the country you come from. I've never been there far from home, so I'm curious what it's like elsewhere. There's nothing I could tell you. It can be anything. Tell me about yourself if you want. I'm even less inclined to do that. Get better soon, okay? I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. I'm not sure there's anyone out there more deserving of the Virgin Mary's name. What was that? Your name. It suits you. Oh no, not at all. I'm incredibly flattered to hear you say that, but I hardly live up to the name. What's your name, by the way? I have no name. You don't? If you want something to call me by, you can choose a name for me. Anything you want. I am nameless. You give me a name. I think you should be the one to choose your name. I'd be more than happy to help, though. But you should go with the name you think is best. I see. Well, I should get going. I'll be around, so if you need anything, just holler. Bye then. How am I supposed to choose a name for myself when I don't know anything about me? Well, you have gotten to learn who you are in the past 5 years, or 3 years, I don't remember what you said. I recovered quickly with a proper bed and a roof over my head. Out on the road, I had been certain I stood no chance, but I was back on my feet after only 3 days at the church. My body was more resilient than even I knew. And now that I was back in health, I had no intention of sticking around. Thank you for everything. I would be dead if it weren't for you. No thanks necessary. I'm just glad to see you're feeling better. There's no need to be in such a rush to leave, you know. Stay a bit longer. Make sure everything's alright. I'm not going to stay any longer than necessary. If you're sure. Take this as payment for the food and lodgings. I can't accept that, no. We don't charge for charity. Charity is not free. You paid for it. Let me pay you back. I can't. Please, take the money. If you insist, I can accept it as a tithe. I think it's tithe. I don't know.
Tithe.
A tithe. Think of it like a donation to the church. Like you said, the work we do isn't free. Alright, then a tithe it is. Thank you. And may God bless you for your generosity. So long. Hey, if you're ever in the area, maybe you could stop by sometime. I never did get the chance to have a talk with you. And I was really looking forward to it too. I'll just cause you more trouble. What? No, you wouldn't. What makes you think that? Are you afraid you'll scare people off because you look different? I really don't think you need to be worried about that. It's not just my appearance. Do you mean it? That it won't be any trouble having me around? I absolutely mean it. Okay. I'll consider it. Wonderful! I can't wait to see you again. Yeah. Believe me, I knew I had no place involving myself with her. A killer making himself comfortable in the house of God. I don't even believe in the deity, and I still know that was nothing if not extremely disrespectful. The money I had donated to the church wasn't even clean. It was stolen. I didn't feel the slightest bit of guilt about it, though. I was more than conscious of what I was doing, but none of that mattered to me. She had smiled when she took it. That was enough. Seeing this nun smiled with my heart at ease, much like the sound of the slave girl's voice had several years before. It restrained me, suppressed my urges. That smiling face was my new tether. I had always believed that I was at my happiest while torturing people. that my thirst for murder was ingrained in my soul. But as exhilarating as taking others' lives was, there was a part of me that yearned for peace. I had gotten a taste of that with her, and I wanted more. Even knowing I had no place in that world, that peace was something I would never attain. Still, I longed for it. It started with brief visits every few months. In time, though, their frequency began to increase. Soon it was once a month, then twice, then once a week. The length of my visits gradually grew as well. Every time I showed up, the nun greeted me with a smile, quenching my thirst without the need for blood. The more we met, the more I endeavored to be a normal man around her, or to play the part of one. I thought that if I acted like there was nothing wrong with me, then I wouldn't be out of place at her side. I wanted to feel like I belonged in that peaceful world where she lived. Ah, it's the giant man! Marie! The giant man is here! Oh, giant man, huh? Giant. Ah, hello there. I was beginning to think you weren't coming in this week. I was having trouble deciding on what to bring you. You're always welcome here, you know. You don't have to bribe yourself in, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring something. I bought a variety of fruits for you today, so you can share them with the children. They'd be delighted. Thank you so much. It's nothing, really. So, have you decided on a name for yourself yet? Not yet, no. Nothing at all. It makes talking to you a little awkward, not having anything to call you. In that case, the giant man is as good as anything. Did it get you under your skin? A little. I'm not that big, am I? We're all giants to little kids. I do wish they'd be a little less blunt about it sometimes, though. Indeed. I suppose it's better than being afraid of me. Though the children here have strong nerves. They're ordinary kids. You're just not a scary person. They only assume I'm harmless because I'm with you. What? You make it sound like you actually are dangerous or something. Because I am. Don't get worked up about it. The only thing different about us is our race. Everything else is exactly the same. Okay. So these are the things that the white-haired girl was saying. And she was blind. Interesting. Right. They do not see who he really is. That's interesting. Interesting way to do that. I'm not so sure. You must have had some pretty awful experiences because of your appearance, then, to make you so concerned about it. I wish I could say I understood your pain. That's not necessary. But if I could, then maybe I'd feel a little closer to you. If only I could be even half the same race as you. I'm sorry, what? Have you already fallen in love with him? Well, it's been a few months, but still. Several months, actually. You have nothing to gain from being more like me. You don't think so? I think there's a lot to you that would be nice about it. I would probably have a really pretty black hair, at least. If I'm ever reborn, I'd like to be more like you. Why are you obsessed with being like me? I just am. Oh. Yeah. That was about the time I started noticing the feelings she had for me. At first, I thought I was simply being egotistical. There was no way a woman like her would be interested in a man like me. But I couldn't think of any other explanation for the way she looked at me. Back then, I believed I loved her too. And that if we could be together, as man and woman, that I would finally be able to attain the peace I so sought. That I could wash my hands of the killer within me, defeat the urges once and for all. That I could step out of the darkness I had lived in for so long. That I would be able to see the light. That I would be able to experience love like any other ordinary man. So in the name of that hope, I took action. That foolish, naive hope. What did you do? What are we doing out here? So late at night. Sorry for asking you to meet me on such short notice. I hope it wasn't too much trouble sneaking out. It certainly wasn't easy. So, you had something to tell me? What I'm about to tell you, every last word is sincere. And then, once you've heard me out, I want you to turn me down. What? Over these past few months, I've come to at least somewhat understand the responsibilities and restrictions placed on you as a nun. But even ignoring the obligations you have, I know good and well I'm not a suitable match for you. Which is why, as I said, I would like you to turn me down. I still want to hear it. I love you. I fell for you the moment I first saw you. I know I don't deserve to be anywhere near you, but every time we meet, my desire to be with you grew stronger and stronger, until it was out of my control. Turn me down, Marie, please, and I will stop trying to get close to you. I'm not Marie. You're not... what? My real name is Pauline. Pauline? Mary is my baptismal name. It's not the name I was given at birth. I love you too. I fell for you the moment I first laid eyes on you. I know it's forbidden, but I want to be with you too. Any free time I have, I want to spend it with you. I'm glad to hear you say that. Thank you for being honest with me. No, thank you for not turning me down. Wow, talk about an anxious day. When you asked me to meet you out here tonight, I wondered if that might be what it was about. It felt like my heart was going to explode all day. Heart? Explode? Guys get nervous about telling girls how they feel too, don't they? Yeah, we do. Until now, I had no idea falling in love was so hard on the nerves. Just thinking about you makes my mind turn to mush. It's hard to work like that, you know? Is it really that stressful? Is it like that for you too? Yeah. Thinking about you makes it impossible to concentrate. Tell me something, Pauline. What is it? How exactly is it hard on your nerves? What? How exactly? It's like, I'm in the clouds and I want to scream and I want to jump into a lake, all at the same time. That doesn't help me much. Could you be a little more specific? Really? Are you trying to embarrass me? It's like my whole body gets really hot. You mean you get aroused? Aroused? No, To put it bluntly, yes. I see. You're a real jerk, you know. You shouldn't go around trying to humiliate ladies. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, you. Well, that was insightful. So I'm not in love with her, or romantically attracted to her. He realized it right away, huh? Good for him. Bad for her! Or even physically attracted to her. All I want from her is her smile. Being around her doesn't arouse me. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. My fire burns brightest when I'm not with her. It all makes sense now. I just want someone to keep me placated. I'm disturbed through and through. A murderer and a beast. See, that's why I didn't want to say anything. I knew you would laugh at me. I'm sorry. I truly am. I did ultimately get what I wanted out of the arrangement. She became my tether, became an invaluable part of my life, even if I had no real love for her. When I was with her, I was at peace. That said, her presence didn't completely rid me of my urges. I was still occasionally struck with bouts of insatiable thirst, overwhelming desire to mutilate anyone who came into my line of sight. And sometimes, Pauline became the object of that desire. Ooh. It goes without saying that I never did draw my sword on her, but I had no way of knowing when I might lose control. And if I ever did kill her, then there would be nothing left to keep me from regressing completely into a beast. Pauline and I arranged regular nighttime meetings, though never once did I tell her how I truly felt. And I had no intention to either. When I was with her, I was in the role of her lover. She never questioned my love for her, and expressing hers for me caused her to smile even more than normal. The happier she was, the more beneficial it was to me. Spending time with her in this capacity, I was able to gain a deeper understanding of what kind of person Pauline was. She was deeply generous and compassionate woman. While I now understand her near-compulsive deeds of charity were a result of the stress and uncertainty she felt about herself, at the time, I believed she was doing it because she genuinely wanted to. I believed she wanted to save absolutely everyone, to be the saintess she had come to be known as. She gave assistance to anyone who sought it from her, without question. And as a result, the church's offers quickly dried up. Her good deed did not supply her with an endless store of bread and wine either. In the end, any endeavor, no matter the intention, requires money. In time, her generosity turned excessive, self-destructive. She would even skip meals so that others could eat. In retrospect, that was probably my fault too. As I pushed her toward her wanting to be a regular girl, she pushed back against the desire by being even more charitable. Soon, her actions started making the other nuns' lives difficult, giving her a less than favorable reputation within the church. Still, she would tell me when we met up how she wished she could help even more people. If doing so would give her peace, and if I could be part of that peace, then I wanted to grant her a wish. But what could a killer like me do to help? Petty thievery wouldn't make me nearly enough money to keep a church and an orphanage running. And a raid large enough in scale to do so would inevitably be traced back to the source, which would ruin the church forever. How was a murderer to acquire such a large sum of money? I was ready to jump at any opportunity that presented itself. When I received summons from the Lord. Now we're gonna meet Jacopo, the Lord. I take it you're the Oriental man who's been seen buzzing around a local church of late. But that will be the end of today's video. We finally got to see the third idiot. Yeah. So we're going to see more about his story. But yeah. Interesting that we got to see, what was it? How... Yeah, I guess this means that while he was in the church, he was passing for a man. Pretty much like he was passing for a man in the second door as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where this takes us next. But either way, thank you guys for watching, and an extra thank you to all the members of this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye everyone.